You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. And I want to bring this to you. The Kamilla Cardoso went out, got a double-double. Chicago Sky beat the actual LA Sparks, and they beat them 90-86. Now, here's the deal that's going down. As I mentioned to you, the Chicago Sky, they got to run everything through Kamilla Cardoso. And Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso need to be better shooters, must be shooters to implement which Coach Witherspoon is trying to do. Now, it is a very interesting situation. Why? Because the Chicago Sky are built off their toughness. They're built off of defensive pressure. And when you play against a team that can handle the defensive pressure, now it's going to come down to executing. So here's what really you got to look at. The other night, the Chicago Sky just got took off the court, by the Mercury. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And when you look at that, you look at the numbers, sitting in there, minus 17, Reese, minus 14, Cardoso, minus 13, Rachel Barham's new player, Badham's coming in, and you got Allen, okay? They all ran minus in that territory. Now, they're going to play, the Fever and the Mercury are going to play today. Now, here's the deal that's got to go down. You got to implement the game plan. And the way the Chicago Sky play, we've got to be upfront and honest. They're not the most offensive team in the WNBA. So what is Coach Witherspoon trying to get them to do? Witherspoon talks about a lot of toughness, and embracing your will upon your opponent. And it was Cardoso who went in there against the Sparks. And I'm telling you, folks, I'll tell you this time and time again, and I'm not going to miss too many times. When you're talking about Cardoso, you got to understand what she did. Played 28 minutes, 6 of 9 from the field, outstanding shooting percentage. Okay, doesn't take the three-pointer. That's concerning to me because you got to take them whether you miss them or not. Why? Because of the actual transition that you got to do on the defensive end. But when you look at the numbers and you want to look at Cardoso's numbers and really break them down, 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Here's a big punch comes in there. Gets you 3 offensive board and stays in there and tackles the defensive glass and is going to put you up on 14 boards for the night. Gets 3 assists, and we're going to top that off with a steal and 2 blocks. Comes out a +9. You win by 4. Okay, you're talking about a different player. Here you're talking about somebody who is very physical, can get the job done, understands completely what the Sky are trying to do. And understand this for Cardoso. You come from South Carolina. Okay, she's been winning basketball games. There's no doubt about it. And she understands how to play the game. Now we got to get everybody else in line. And this is where the Fever, I say it every time, but this is where the Sky have trouble, and you're going against the Mercury. Okay, so you got to look at this and say it's got to run through Cardoso. There is no other route to victories except now. Here's the challenge. Okay, here's the challenge that you face with that, and here's what makes it really difficult. Okay, because you'll come in there and you'll beat the Sparks, right? But you got only going to get 22 minutes, comes out of +7. Gets 2 rebounds. That's one of the forward. You got to get on the glass. There's no doubt about it. For the Chicago Sky to play the way Coach Witherspoon wants them to play. Okay, you got Angel Reese, 4-13, and you're 6-8 from the field. Here's the detriment that makes it harder. Okay, if you look at the Sky, how to win, you got Onaware takes no three-pointers. You got Reese takes no three-pointers. You got Cardoso takes no three-pointers. And you got Allen, who took 1 3-pointer. Why is that so mission critical? Because when you play the Mercury and you know what the Mercury's capabilities are, and the Sky go 4-9, here's what the Mercury going to do. Mercury going to put the ball up in the air. Okay, they're going to shoot those threes, as you can kind of see, 12 of 23. So you're basically playing 3 against 2. You play a 3 against 2 game. There's only one way you can win that game, and that's the defensive matchup. Now, if you look at it now, how's it all going to shake out? Okay, the Chicago Sky, they're going to play the Mercury. Somebody's got to take Copper. Okay, and that's got to be Trinity. Carter's got to take Copper. And here's what Copper did the last time. She ran him off 12 of 19 from the field, 3 of 4, 3 of 5 from the free throw line, okay, and just dazzled out. And you're going to come out there. She got 2 rebounds, 3 assists, no steals, no blocks, 1 turnover. So you got a very efficient player that you're going to play when you get to Copper. Okay, now, but here's the part where Cardoso gets a little tied up. She's got to guard Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner is not a problem for Cardoso. You just got to be patient, put her in that trail position. She can't run block to block because here's what the Mercury like to do. The Mercury like to let you enjoy it, but they know the sky are up and down. So they're going to come out blazing saddles, okay? They're going to come out blazing the saddles, and here's what's got to happen. Angel Reese has got to tailor her game out today, okay, because she's going to be given a defensive assignment. And, folks, when you get the defensive assignment, it's really hard to pick it up on the offensive end and do the things that you're able to do on the offensive end of the basketball. Now, if they follow Coach Coop's game plan, here's what the Sky have got to understand. If you run out on them, you get the lead. You got a tempo out the game. And here's the thing that you know Coach Witherspoon's got to do, and Coach Witherspoon's just got to do it. It's not something that she could beat around the bush because the team is really dependent on it. And, you know, I mean, you look at Witherspoon, she got enough experience to do it. Now she's got to pick a point guard because it will not work if you're running 2 guards in there and you're trying to figure out, well, who's going to run this thing, because you got to figure out who's the most efficient player. Now, if you look at Evans running that, ran out 1 of 2, 17 minutes, 2 of 2, basically 4 assists. He lifted them up there and at 2 turnovers. So you're looking at a total of 5 points there, and her plus minus came out as 0. Okay, but Allen, you know, you got to understand, Allen went 7 of 11, 26 minutes. Okay, went in there from the free throw line 2 of 3. Gives you an extra addition on the boards and also gives you an extra addition on the assists. So when you get in there and you're looking at that, and you also got the Shields running in there, and you're going to make a difference. Is Carter going to come off the bench, or she's going to move her back in the starting lineup? My projection is going to move her back in. But, you know, I mean, Coop's got to settle on, you know, I mean, Spoon's got to settle on a point guard and let that be the point guard that's going to run it for you, because you can't keep hopping around. And here's what I mean by running it and let them run it for you. If you look at the Sky, I mean, they've got to make a dependency on this. And when you look at how they play, as you can kind of see, I mean, you're going to get those type of buckets, but that's not in the offense, okay? Here's what you got. It's going to come in there, good play. You're going to kick the ball out, extra pass. There goes Bantam can hit that, and you got to stay with Bantam. You got to stay with Bantam because Bantam is the shooter that can leave it. Now, there's Cardoso. And I'm telling you that if you look at that pass, there's nothing great coming out of that. She made the bucket. But here's the most important thing on that. You know, you got to quit throwing this ball in the awkward situation. See how you threw that one right into the area of the post, and it's not spacing or getting them where they need to catch it. So she's still got to get work to do it. You want to put that pass right into place, okay, where she can actually just get it and put it up in the court and score the bucket. But Cardoso is the key. And when you get to the defensive assignments, I mean, today against the Mercury, that's going to be tough because you got to have those assignments, okay? And when I walk you down on this and I walk you down and you look at where is the assignment, okay, you got Cardoso, you got him flattened out. We could be off here. We're going over to the other side. So we got to get off the ball to protect it in a team defense. Now, when I run this through, and I'll break it down for you, you can kind of see, okay, here's where we got the drop. We let the screen go through. However, okay, weak side's got to be ready. That ball's going to go downhill, and you can't allow that to happen to you. And this is something you just got to see. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics, and you got a lazy player here that's coming across on the defensive end, and they just give it up, and that shouldn't happen. So if you look at this, they're going to just rock and roll. There she gave it up. Now you got 2 players that got to get to the spot, okay, because you can't give up the layup on this. and you're getting beat off the dribble, and you got almost 2-3 players. You got to get to the spot. We don't give up a layup here. Okay, so that's the bottom line, and that shouldn't happen. But you know what Witherspoon's talking about and how she wants to do it. It's just going to come down to how much they follow the game plan. And here's what I'm saying by follow the game plan. The game's got to go through Cardoso. You cannot do it any other way if you're playing the way Coach Cooper wants you to play. And here's Coop in the locker room, and I want you to just hear how she's breaking it down because she's got it. She's telling them what they need. Now they just got to do it.
Good job of sticking with it. Stand with each other. Figuring it out. Sometimes it gets difficult down the stretch and you in someone else's arena and it's hard to figure out. But when you stay together,
Now, that's what she's talking about. It gets difficult down the stretch. Now, here's what the Sky do. The Sky run moments where they check out of the game. They check out. It's right in the tension point. And you're probably going to see that early against the Mercury because the Mercury are going to test them and see if they'll fold. Okay, but the Sky have to maintain the tempo. The Mercury, they do the same thing all the time. There's nothing new that the Mercury can do. And what does the Mercury do? You got Griner, they're going to feed into pulls. So Cardoso's going to be on her heels, but, you know, she's from South Carolina. There's no confusion in Cardoso. Kamilla Cardoso can play this game. You just got to stick with her, okay? You're going to have Taurasi out there shooting the ball. There's no doubt about it. She's going to lay on the three-point line. Nia Cloud is interesting because down deep in the shot clock, and it's going to how it's going to go because I think Kennedy Carter's going to have to take Copper, and then you're going to have to look at a guard that's going to bail you out and it's going to take Cloud because Cloud will kill you down the stretch, okay? And sometimes she does it with more than her shooting, okay? She was 1 of 7 in the last game, 1 of 4. Okay, nothing big on the shooting, but a plus 18 because she's very, very efficient. And that's where, you know, Coop's saying, you guys got to hold it together, okay, because you're in another building. You're going to get tested today. And here's what Spoon is doing down and talking about her game plan.
You communicate with each other. In tough times, you find a way. This is what we're talking about. It's finding a way to go get wins. And then responding to me asking you to bust your you responded.
She's talking about Kamilla Cardoso. What did she do? What did Kamilla Cardoso do? She hung in there and she busted her tail down the stretch to get that victory. And that's what the Chicago Sky need. Now, here's the deal. They got to control the tempo. One thing I do notice that's extremely positive for the Chicago Sky. They're not a team that turns the ball over. Okay, so if you look at it and you want to look at what they do and how they do it, the Chicago Sky had 12 turnovers last game. Now, if they can match that turnover, they got a shot to get in there and win this ball game today. Because at the end of the day, if you control the tempo, and this is where I'm talking about, Spoon's going to have to make a decision. Okay, who's going to be at my point guard spot? And when you make that decision, if it's going to be Allen's going to have to run 30 minutes a game. You got Carter, but Kennedy Carter's not a point guard. She's running the off guard. Her hands are going to be full with Copper. Okay, Copper, no doubt about it, can play. The Shields, you know, you got to get in there and you got to do better because when you're at the guard spot, one thing I'm going to look for, if you look at Carter and you look at Evans, they got 1 assist, okay? And excuse me, 1 steal. But when you look at from the assist total, you got Allen dishing the ball and you got Evans. You're going to have to pick one. One of them's going to get 30 minutes. The other one's going to get maybe 10 to 15. But that's how the ball's got to roll. You can't do it any other way. You look at the standings for the Chicago Sky. Obviously, they're sitting down there, dropped. They're sitting at 11 and 15. Crucial game today. If they can follow what Coop wants. And I'm telling you, Coop knows it. And, you know, you got to go in there, Spoon, as she gets it in there. And you got to understand she wants it to go through Kamilla Cardoso. And that's what they need to get done because they can't win.
I'm at Kamilla right now. Kamilla was hell tonight, you guys. Kamilla was hell tonight.
Okay, so that, you know, and that solidifies it, and it just lets me know where Witherspoon is. I'm telling you, If you run that thing through Cardoso and you stick with it, okay, and you got to get Angel Reese popped out of the box, and you got to get him out of the box and let her go to work, okay, because Griner's tough, Griner's long, but this is nothing new. She's built for it. She's out of South Carolina, so there's no doubt she knows how to play it. And the physical toughness, you got it. I mean, you got it 100%. Now, Angel Reese, let me break down Angel Reese. Angel Reese is going to have to play defensive basketball. Angel Reese is going to have a slot shot selection, because if you don't take the shots in the offense, okay, if you don't take the shots in the offense, here's the deal. Your transition defense gets shot right away. Okay, Angel Reese is smart enough to do it. She's coming out of another championship program, LSU. She's been a national champion. She's played for Kim Mulkey. Angel Reese knows how to do her job, okay? There's no doubt about it. Angel Reese, and here you got Bantam, brand new player. We got to get her the basketball, and that's going to depend on Angel Reese and also Kamilla Cardoso, because you got to kick that ball out. You're going to be outsized today, okay? So it's not going to be an inside game. And when you go in there and force it, you're going to get these transition turnovers, and the game can get away from you. The Sky want to get this game, and if they have to keep hanging around, all the way till 5 minutes left in the game, you make your move. But you got to be in the game to make your move. Bantam's going to play a key role. Okay, I'm telling you, you're going to have Kamilla Cardoso as Brittany Griner. She can outplay Brittany Griner. Okay, you got to bring Griner outside of that perimeter, and she can knock those shots down. Same thing with Angel Reese. She's got to come outside the perimeter and knock the shots down, folks. This is not grade school, okay? And you're looking at it, and she's got all the accolades, right? But here's the thing you got to remember. You got to play basketball. And when you got to play basketball, that's when you're going to find out exactly who she is. They've got a new player, Rachel Bantam, shoots it well. Got to utilize that. Got to get deep in the shot clock against the Mercury. You don't want to go down there and have early transition, early offense. If it's not there, you got to reset it. Okay, and this is where you got to pick a point guard. Because if you reset it correctly, you can win the game. Now, the Chicago Sky still have to play basketball, and the way the deal works, Kamilla Cardoso is a champion. She's got to get the ball, got to get the touches on every one. And I'll tell you, you watch the ball game today, if they go away from it, it's going to be a tough ticket for them. Okay, there's no doubt about it, because the way they do play, okay, they don't take three-point shots. And that one there puts you at a huge disadvantage. And here, what am I saying? Okay, they're efficient. Okay, 48% shot from the field against the Sparks. Okay, it's going to need those legs today. They're 44% from the three-point line, but here's the problem. You only take 9 of them. You got to get more three-point shots, or you're going to be losing it. And if you match that up, that the team that's taking more, and I'll get you down here, okay, as you got right here, the actually LA Sparks, they didn't hesitate. They took 27 threes, okay, 33%. You got to take them to make them. That's what Money Mike is saying. You got to take the three-point shots to make the three-point shots. If you don't take the three-point shots, then you're never going to make the three-point shots. That is crucial. You got to do that deep in the shot clock. Witherspoon to understand this game, they got to follow a game plan and not get rattled early against the Mercury. Okay, but the game of the Chicago Sky has to go through Kamilla Cardoso, and Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso are going to have to pop out and shoot those threes. They do that, then the Chicago Sky have got themselves a victory. Now, down the stretch, you control the tempo, you have the lead. Okay, that's very important, which now you got to work it through the offense. Work it through the offense, enter it into the post, because Kamilla Cardoso is excellent, fantastic at skipping the ball to the weak side. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen enough to see where it can go. Angel Reese, she comes back to you. You got to knock down the shot, okay, because you're going to have to play this way. The Mercury, as you know, the Fever beat them the other night. They beat them at their own game. Now it's time for the Chicago Sky to beat the Mercury at their game. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We are powered up by Fanatics. You got all your gear. You can go right on over there, click the link. We got you covered. Got a lot of good stuff. And here's the deal. We always are going to get better and better so you can go higher and higher. We'll see you soon.